Hey everybody.
Hi everyone.
Hey, we are moving into August already.
Summer is winding down.
Wow. And we'll start by saying that this month, August, September, and October, we won't be doing the deep dive. But we'll be back in November. And please take a look at our newsletters. And if you have anything to add to the topic that we talk about here on the video or there on the newsletters, please write us.
Yeah.
We love hearing your thoughts because that's the way, really, if we tell the truth, the natural world makes sense, and it's the best way we make sense is in a collective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Drawing from each other's thoughts.
I think that's one of the big lessons for our time from the natural world, that this isn't an effort for one or two or three people. It's a collective community effort. And I mean, everything we do that's worthwhile is a collective community effort. So, yeah.
Certainly, and that fits exactly with the topic that came to mind for this month. We had the good fortune of getting a senior financial and investment advisor who lives over in Boston, but is completely devoted to the well-being of the natural world through investment and finance as a guest on our How It Looks From Here podcast.
Yeah, she's great, and her firm, Reynders McVeigh, consults with people who want to invest, but who want to put their money into corporations that are trying to do their best for the environment and for social justice and environmental justice, which are essentially the same. And so we've been very happy to have been able to cross paths and put her on as a guest. So please do check that out.
And they're part of a larger group of many organizations that emphasize this in that particular space, in the investment and finance space, which is reassuring. So you'll learn more about that by listening to Maria on How It Looks From Here. But they call what they do cooperation. What they're doing is the same thing. You know, they're all invested in this, looking at social justice, looking at diversity, looking at the fairness with which any entity in which they suggest their clients invest is supporting their own, so like if corporations are mistreating their employees, they're not interested. So they're really using finance and investment to affect magnificence. And a way of understanding that is to consider what Gary and I are calling this month the arc of well-being.
Yeah, and Maria explained, which some of you are old enough to remember, this started out as from an investment firm standpoint with the so-called sin stocks. So people didn't want their investments going to like cigarettes or sometimes munitions and military. So
and oil.
Yeah, and oil. So there arose this team of investors to try to help those people put their money where their values were, and then that has grown considerably to what Mary just described. And
even prior to that, Gary, was apartheid. That's what really kicked it off.
That's right. That
there were people who did not want any of their money to support the dominators in South Africa.
Yeah.
And that's where we kind of learned how to do this first. So it was helpful to get that history, and then to consider, what does this mean, this arc of well-being?
Yeah.
Gary and I are giving it that name, but in human society. So anytime, and we know this from full ecology, we know this from the natural world, that anytime you act in the interest of, let's say, environmental justice, the fairness of the natural world, of the environment, for all people, you are acting out of diversity, and you are acting out of social justice, and you are acting out of sustainability. So it's all connected all the time anyway.
Yeah, I was thinking of, and we've talked about this before, Lao Tzu fantastic Chinese philosopher, wise one, who said it is the way of nature to provide for all beings without the need to be master or dominate any of them. And there's something to be said about an economy that is a little less focused on domination, coercion, pure competition, cutthroat, as opposed to being right-sized, balanced, cooperative. Yes, what Maria's word is, what is it? Cooperation?
Yeah.
That's really pretty appropriate for, I think, much of the natural world. So I like that very much.
Yeah. So last month I mentioned Bruce Lipton, one of my favorite scholars and thought leaders, I guess would be a contemporary way of saying it. He suggests that we are living, and he's a physicist and has all sorts of cred in all sorts of conventional scholarly areas, that we are living in heaven. Look at what's behind us, if you can see it. Down there in the water, there are lily pads. We are in, and behind us is this beautiful fence. We are in a very urban setting, you can hear it.
Very.
And where we are is heaven on earth in my mind. But everything Lipton is saying it depends on how you think about it, or not even think. What if you commit yourself to being in harmony with yourself rather than disharmony. And so here in this harmonious environment, this is called Tanner Springs in downtown Portland, and it is all indigenous plants.
Yes.
And the water recycles, and it comes from the rainy season, and then it recycles all year long.
Yeah, it's very essentially wild in many pockets of the park, and Portland has been extremely good at that. Forest Park, I think the largest park in any city in the United States, is largely quite wild and untended and unkempt, other than invasive plants and so forth. They try to eradicate those, but there's a value here that, yes, the commercial real estate is worth a lot, but so is our ability to walk to a place where we can be calm and restore ourselves and inspire ourselves, and Portland's done a good job of staying true to that.
Portland's decision to make this park the way it is an example of social justice in action, environmental justice in action, because the fact is, whether a person lives in a condo here, in the penthouse of a condo, or on the streets, everybody has equal access to this beautiful, beautiful place, and to learning from the signs around about what's going on with sustainability.
Yeah.
And so this is the actual truth of who we are. Full ecology keeps pointing us back to look at the natural world, learn about the you call it the superpowers that are our superpowers, and the essence that is our essence. We are connected, we are reliant on each other, and when we open those pathways, we are far more real and far happier, and as Lipton suggests, for real, neurologically and in all sorts of ways, we are in heaven on earth. We were born into heaven on earth. And in some ways, in many ways, it's our job to remember that, to reclaim that.
And to stand up for it, and to work with our neighbors to protect and preserve it against those who would exploit it. And I think the power of people coming together to do good things, we're on the front edge of what I think is going to be a very hopeful future. So let's get together and do it. One of the other things I wanted to talk about, since we're talking about economics, human economics, this is being done by some groups, but not nearly enough, and that's a concept called full cost accounting, where we've developed a brand of capitalism where the only thing that matters is the bottom line to the shareholders a lot of times. But the fact of the matter is, if you're polluting the water and making people sick and increasing the cost of health care, if you're reducing efficiency on the work site because people can't get there because of various maladies they have because of the environment you've abused, or any of a number of other things, then you're not taking that cost of how you're operating into account when you're when you're tallying up the profits.
Right.
And we really need to pay much more attention to not just how much money is on the bottom line of the spreadsheet, but how much did it cost through our, unwise behaviors and abuse of either people or the environment along the way.
Well, and then there's the perspective that I think Lucas Black, who was one of our earlier guests on How It Looks From Here, and probably some other people, and I'm not remembering right now, what they spoke of is that we also don't flip the frame and look at the value added by all these things that we think of as free.
So true.
Like
so
timber
true.
and water and air. I mean, you name it. And this is all super salient to, and this is where when you talk about human society, and we are talking about the arc of well-being, but you'll see in our newsletter, the arc of well-being is nested locales, clear out to the multiverse.
Yes.
And down into these fabulous things that are going on inside the mitochondria of our bodies.
Yeah, you mentioning the services, I hate to even call them that, but the blessings that nature provides. I remember one economist did the math and figured that just water filtration through natural systems is worth about $3 trillion
Every year.
Every year. And so that's just one small aspect, of course, of what the natural world provides. And so, yeah, let's act as partners to that system and not as antagonists.
Well, and we know that you're on board, or you wouldn't be watching this video.
That's true. We don't have to.
And so,
talk you into
and we also know that it matters what we do, because that inspires other people just by watching us. We don't even need to talk about it much. It matters what you do. So be in love with the earth. Be in love with your life. It's radical. It's activism. It really is. And don't believe us. Check it out for yourself. We had a fantastic retreat.
Oh, it was so great. Please check out the retreats at fullecology.com.
Yeah, the Inner Elder first run was just fantastic. We'll put a bunch of pictures in the newsletter.
Yeah, we had some writers there who worked on writing in addition to the Inner Elderhood material, and once again, the stage for all this was the Centennial Valley, which I've said this many times. You could just go there, sit for a week, and you'd think it was one of the best experiences you've had in years. So check it out, and we hope to see you maybe next year.
Yeah. Be in touch. As we said, we're not doing deep dive this time round, but you can find more out about us at www.fullecology.com, and write us really at connect@fullecology.com. connect@fullecology.com.
Enjoy this summer. These are challenging times. Make sure you make time for yourself. Put, as one person we listen to often says, put your bare feet on the ground as often as you can. Hug a tree, whatever you can do, because
gaze into a candle.
It's all going to give you the nourishment and the respite you need to live a good life, even in these rather crazy times.
And before we go, so you can maybe see, can you see them, Gary?
Yeah.
Some of the lily pads and the lilies in bloom. I hope you can.
Yeah.
All right.
Squint hard, you'll see them.
Yeah, we wish you the very best as ever.
Yeah. Thanks for being with us.
We'll see you next month.
Take care.
Bye for now.
Happy August.